Hey guys, check this out. I found this really cool sword, and we can continue our series on the armor of God and wait a minute, the sword of the Spirit was last week. Today, we're going to be talking about my all-time favorite superhero, Captain America. And the reason he's my favorite superhero is because before he becomes Captain America, he's just a normal guy named Steve Rogers who wants to get in the Army during World War II. And he can't join the Army because he's too small, as you can see in the picture behind me. He becomes a test subject to become a super soldier in a program that is run and founded by Tony Stark's dad, Howard. And he doesn't really have any superpowers, but he does have peak strength, peak agility, meaning he can run really fast, peak stamina, means he can run really fast for a long time, and peak intelligent, meaning he's really, really smart. And the only weapon that he really carries around is this iconic red, white, and blue shield with a star in the middle. The shield is also created and made of vibranium by Tony Stark's dad, Howard, from the country of Wakanda. And just like Captain America can take out his enemies throwing the shield, oops, might need to fix that window. There's nothing that compares to the protection that a man named Abraham had around him. So the story of Abraham is actually found in the very first book of the Bible, Genesis. And his story, it covers a whopping 13 chapters. He's also found a couple more times in the Old Testament and then a couple times in the New Testament. So he must have been a really, really important man to be talked about this much in the Bible. And when we first meet him, his name actually isn't Abraham, it's Abram. And he makes this covenant with God. Do you guys know what a covenant is? A covenant is actually a promise. So when you guys promise to do something to your parents, that is kind of like making a covenant with them. And God actually changes his name to Abraham, meaning father of many. And this means he would become the father of the nation of Israel. And God tells him in Genesis 15 verses 5 and 6 to look up at the sky and count the stars if he can. God says the number of stars will be his descendants. So the next time you guys go outside, be sure to look up at the stars in the night and try to count them. And if you get tired, just remember the promise that God gave to Abraham. So I've told you how much I like Captain America. See, I still have his shield. But Abraham's faith in God's protection has so much more than just this shield. I want to share with you guys a really cool couple of verses found in Hebrews 11, and it's verses 8 to 10. And it says, "It was by faith that Abraham obeyed when God called him to leave home and go to another land that God would give him as his inheritance. He went without knowing where he was going, and even when he reached the land God promised him, he lived there by faith. For he was like a foreigner living in tents, and so did Isaac and Jacob, who inherited the same promise. Abraham was confidently looking forward to a city with eternal foundations, a city designed and built by God." Captain America is the very first Avenger, and Abraham was the father of many people. So they both actually had firsts in their life. All throughout his life, Abraham was faithful to God and listened, for the most part, to what he said and what he was supposed to do. I mean, how many of us would leave a place that we have known for our entire life and take our families and move to a totally new place like Abraham did? It's not going to be fun to do. It wouldn't be fun to do. But if God wants us to do it, we should do it. Abraham was confident in what he was doing because he wanted to make God happy. And in the end, he wanted to live with God forever. to me, Abraham was a hero.